At the time, there was a group called the Supermen that were held as the best DJs in the world, really. And they came from Brooklyn. And their leader, Clark Kent, basically ran things here in New York City.
I was hired by the New Music Seminar to help with the DJ battle because I guess I was respected as a DJ at that time.
It was crazy. The New Music Seminar, the DJ battle became that thing.
You have to understand, there were other competitions. The Disco Mix Club, DMC had a competition, but the competition felt different because it was 7 minutes of you getting to get your stuff. The New Music Seminar and the Superman DJ Battle for World Supremacy was 1.5 minutes.
You know, we've seen the DMC tapes, but this one was like the first time we've seen head-to-head eliminations, 90 seconds.
I think it was definitely hip hop's battle back then. I mean, not to take anything away from the DMC, because DMC is definitely an awesome battle as well, because it's definitely more of a showcase style because you got 6 minutes. But that intense 1-2 punch of a head-to-head battle with 1 minute each, that's what the seminar was.
The stakes at the New Music Seminar were very high. The DMC, you were still battling for a title, but it was more of a presentation, and maybe the big DJ was DJ Cut Wizard from Boise, Idaho, or, is talented, but at the New Music Seminar, it was 2 DJs from your favorite rap groups battling in front of a room that was basically the entire hip hop community. So, reputations were at stake, people were booing, people were ready to fight. Like, it was a totally different experience.
Seeing all the people that, everyone's music that you played as a DJ, and seeing them in this whole hall, watching you, watching this DJ battle that you're in, it was a big thing for me.
The battles existed at the cusp of really big changes in skill level and what we would come to expect from DJs and MCs, turntablists and battle MCs. This is before no one was calling it turntablism.
Yeah, that was the golden era for new styles, and it was so pure at the time. People wanted to see something new. From
one year to the next, to be the progress that was made and what was happening in turntablism was it was nuts.
The New Music Seminar with the DJ battle brought light to the beat juggle on a hard body scale.
The most impressive DJ exhibition I saw at the New Music Seminar was the father of the Executioners, X-Men. It was Steve D, and seeing him beat juggle for the first time. My first time seeing someone beat juggle, not his first time.
The idea that you had this group of dudes that were running things bothered Steve. And he and Sean decided they were gonna make a group to go against the Supermen. And that's why the name X-Men came about. He would go up on stage with a Superman shirt, kind of taunting the Superman. That was his way of saying, I'm the Superman.
Steve was a wizard at beat juggling. Steve was, Steve was an animal.
It was still at a level where anything new was wow. If you did a pitch thing like 8 Ball did, the everybody's wow. If you did a crazy wordplay diss, like noise. It was like, wow.
I was lucky enough to catch Yo MTV Raps one weekend. They showed little clips of the New Music Seminar battle. And so I'm like, oh, there's 10 seconds of Mixmaster Mike doing a scratch.
There was this one thing where he was like moving his hat and he was scratching and he was like doing all this crazy shit. And I was like, oh my God.
So we didn't get those tapes till years later. So like when you're watching Steve D, we see that 3 years later, 4 years later, literally. I remember getting DMC tapes and tripping out and being like, oh, this is from 7 years ago.
VHS tapes, DMC VHS tapes. Like, that was the first time I could see DJs.
I remember before DVDs, like I was buying VHSs weekly.
The radio was the influence to like learn how to mix, and then I would buy like the DJ battle tapes, like VHS tapes.
We're getting closer and closer to the picture, and we're seeing these videotapes now. So I think it really inspired us a lot to see the Executioners or the X-Men at the time, see the Scratch Pickles, Q-Bert, and Mixmaster Mike.
So the late 80s were a perfect storm for technology advancing to where information could travel across the country. You had VHS tapes that were now able to be dubbed. Camcorders were available for consumer purchase, so you could film whatever you wanted. Long distance calling, so you could send audio or video of something much faster than you could before.
Outside of the Bay, I mean, you didn't really get to hear or see any of this. It was like word of mouth. But then these DMC videos and seminar videos started leaking and getting around, and we were able to see what was going on.
Watching whether it was the Scratch Pickles TV or the ITF tapes, you had to get a VHS to watch those. ITF ones were big for me because that was like the underground battles. It wasn't the DMC, it was like the alternative option to watch the DJs that were like, they weren't the big guys. Like the big guys back then were the Executioners, X-Men, and you know, the Scratch Pickles. But then if you want to watch like Fifth Platoon, they were doing just as ill, but it was like the indie version of it to us.
So then, you start looking closer at some of the videos. Okay, what are they doing with their other hand? Oh, that's a crossfitter. I guess, you know, we learned, I think we read it, but when I talk about these things, I can have these flashbacks of like asking dumb questions to my best friend, like, how are they doing that? But we were learning in real time, and you couldn't Google anything, so.
I had people from different towns coming over just to watch them, because if you had one, nobody around you had one. It was so rare to have that.
I was super curious about how did they get to this level? How did they even do this? How did they manipulate the sounds, scratching, beat juggling, create the routines?
You would hear about a routine someone did, and to see that, the anticipation and build up in your mind was such a fun experience. And it was like,
you would hear about a technique. So you would hear, the guy did a thing and it sounded like lasers. And you might not actually get that audio for like a year, let alone like see how someone did it to figure out, the technique.
I'm gonna sound like a dinosaur, I don't care. But the fact that you could just go to anything and just be like, how do you do this and learn? It's amazing. They take it so for granted. I mean, we might go weeks, if not months, trying to go to every record store. Hey, do you know a song that goes asking everyone, do you know that song that goes
Flown! Yeah. Any day now, Chuck Jackson, all for it.
Go with him.
Never heard of it.
We would spend almost a year sometimes trying to find a song you heard on a mixtape or on the radio, but you didn't catch who it was. So just as an example of like, man, let alone trying to learn how to beat juggle or scratch, I mean, we would just rewind things over and over and just try to imitate the sound.
Back then, I was like, wiki, that's so easy. Anyone can do that. I play a real instrument. I play the drums. I can read music. And then my friend was like, yo, you got to come over to my place. My friend's in town. He's scratching. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, you really got to check it out. So I go and check it out, and there he is with his dreads, and he's scratching, and he's doing all these crazy rhythms that I couldn't even play on my drums, and all these Latin rhythms. And then when I started watching the DMC videos and stuff like that, and seeing people battle and using the turntables as instruments, it was a lot more than just playing other people's music, which is how I looked at it previous to that. So it just opened up this whole other world.
I mean, damn near literally have therapy about like, how do you do these techniques? I mean, I'd spend hours on the phone like, can you do that over the phone? Like, dude, how do you do that one thing, Melo? And like, hold on, I'm gonna put my phone down. Can you like, oh, damn. Do it again. And mind you, this is gonna be even, gosh, I'm really dating myself. And we were calling long distance. Get a load of that. So mom's phone bill was going through the roof while I'm trying to learn scratches. Do it again. What?
It goes back to Q. You know, Q was the guy who had all the videos, every seminar that was available on tape, and all the DMCs. So I would go to Q's house to dub videos. As the videos were dubbing, me and him would cut it up.
Like everything about Qbert was just starkly different from what I was used to. He's like playing Mary Had a Little Lamb with a tone. I never had an experience of seeing a DJ do that.
Shortly after that, Qbert started putting out all these videos, all the invisible Skratch Pickles. You know, those guys are also on another level. They're the godfathers.
That was another DJ moment when they won the DMC doing the crew routine. Everything you thought was now officially ruined.
I'm in it by myself, cutting it up, doing my routines, and Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, and DJ Apollo entered as a team. It was the three of them. And we're like, whoa, like we have no chance. Like it's, you know, 6 arms versus 2 arms.
The Skratch Pickles won the world as a team, or they were called the Rocksteady DJs at that time. I remember a lot of DJs were kind of nasty about that. How are you gonna let 3 dudes compete and we're all by ourselves, you know? But at the same time, like it was the first time, it was like earth-shattering seeing Mike, Q, and Apollo in New York destroy everybody.
And although it was unfair in that way, it opened up the spectrum of what you could do with regards to turntables and DJing.
No disrespect to rest in peace Raider and Rob. I know they were salty about it, but at a certain level, you were just like, that was so good.
That was so horrible to watch. Like, it was just melted your castle of I'm a good DJ. They just all over everybody. It was beautiful though.
But now we were like looking at what the Skratch Pickles were doing as a team and thinking like, dude, let's try some team DJing. And ITF established a team category, a beat juggling category, a scratching category, and just a heads up category. So, you know, we went out for that first ITF and we made a 4-man team routine that led to us winning a world championship there. And then we ended up defending that title the next year. And you know, I'd like to think the Junkies, we made a big contribution to taking where Q, Apollo, and Mike left it, and we kind of like tried to put our own twist on it.
One of my favorite DMC battles is DJ Craze. DJ Craze is just, you know, he's so tight. He's so like precise and on point with his juggles. And he, in my mind, was like the first one that was like made everything so clean and so tight.
I started killing everybody in '98. Yeah. And then everybody got murdered.
Craze, come on, man. Straight up, I take my shades off. That is my favorite DJ, period.
We always wait for Craze to drop something. We're waiting there. What is he gonna do next?
Yes, so when I won the DMCs the first time, it was amazing. I won it twice, I won it 3 times, and then I decided to stop. They didn't ban me, they didn't make me quit. Like, that's just all a myth. Like, Tony Prince once said it when I was in the UK. He was like, why would I want to make this guy stop? He makes me so much money.
I mean, definitely with the battling, the anxiety, the stress. I'm a big procrastinator. I'm a cruncher. But also, I feel a lot of my best work comes from that stressful situation, even though it's not healthy and, you know, things of that nature.
That was my mentality when I moved to Los Angeles. I was trying to kill everybody. I had literally walked around with a backpack with records in my backpack, not knowing where I was going or that I would show up at a party. But if I did, I got some records there to bring some heat to some people.
So it's no different than someone training at the gym every day. It's an everyday thing that you're always gonna do. It's non-negotiable, as Kobe Bryant said. I am not negotiating with myself. I have to do it. You know, otherwise I'm not gonna get to, I'm not gonna get to the level I wanna get to.
I didn't like it no more. I was just like, all right, cool. I just proved to y'all that I can murder you. Like, a fourth time? No. So I just stopped.
Right when DJing and techniques are getting like super duper technical, comes this super funky, super musical contrast.